everyone, and welcome to another episode of Eating at a Meeting. I'm excited to bring you this episode, which I pre-recorded while I was visiting Vast, which is an Oklahoma City restaurant and very cool bar. It is on the 49th and 50th floor of the Devon Tower in downtown Oklahoma City. And I just happened to be in town for my nephew's engagement party. And when I got the invite to come and check out their new bar, I was like, why not take the opportunity to do so? And wow, I was blown away. The space is beautiful, 2 levels of restaurant and event space with a 360-degree view of Oklahoma City and the surrounding areas. And the general manager told me, and I loved this, was that on a good night, clear night, you can actually see the Oklahoma University Sooners football stadium 20 miles away. That's how clear the view is and how tall they are. It was just spectacular. But in this interview, I actually had the opportunity to sit down with the general manager, Askey, and the beverage manager, Colby, Poulin, to chat with them about their cocktails and their catering menu and restaurant menu. And when I told them that, I'm really interested in sustainability and inclusion in their food and beverage menus, oh boy, did they deliver. Their beverage menu they have different tiers of menus based on the seasons, and they have a non-alcoholic version to match every single one. And they were delicious. They weren't loaded with sugar. They were very tasty and elegant. And I loved them all. And the catering menu is the same. And when we talked about dietary needs, you'll hear from Evan, how serious they take them. And it wasn't hard for their chef to manage that. And I loved how they pair their restaurant menu with the catering menu, and they can make anything plant-based. They can make anything gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever your attendees' dietary needs are, they can meet them. So tune in, listen to what they have to say about how serious they are in designing inclusive menus from the bar to the catering, and go check them out. They're in downtown Oklahoma City, again, in the Devon Tower, the 49th and 50th floor. Post your comments, send me a note, let me know if I can introduce you to them if you're doing an event in Oklahoma City, and enjoy. So we're in this bar, so the market for NA, have you seen it?
Oh yeah,
it's huge. It's huge.
Oh yeah. I think what Gen Zs are drinking half as much as it's generation before them. So the millennials definitely, everybody has taken. If they're not drinking, they're drinking less, and that's just been the trend. That's been the trend the last 5 years, but especially pronounced in the last. It's really strong. So we've tapped into that market. I think most smart restaurants and bars and a lot of programs have as well, and trying to offer creative cocktails that aren't a Shirley Temple. They're actually driven and built, and then being the outsider. You know what I mean? It's how we have to all menus now are incomplete without non-alcoholic cocktails. They're incomplete without a vegetarian item. They're incomplete without being inclusive, because if you have a group of 10, 12, 20, 100 people, chances are, 20 to 30 of them are not going to drink. They're not going to, eat meat. So you have to be adaptive and be inclusive of these audiences.
I'm doing a program in a couple of weeks, and we have 4,700 people total and 475 people with dietary restrictions. And I coded one menu where it's a city across venue thing, and one of them's amusement park, and I went through their menu, and 4 items were gluten-free and dairy-free out of 38.
Yeah.
And, 5 items were gluten-free, and 0 were vegan, and 5 were vegetarian. And I'm like, this is unacceptable, in this day and age, in my opinion, to not have those options. And I chatted with my client. I'm like, she's like, we can't feed them before they go, because they're not participating in the whole experience. You're making them an outcast before you get there.
And that's the same thing. That's our same approach for, I don't eat meat or dairy, so, but we've always kind of had a plant-based menu. So we have a plant-based tasting menu, and we have a regular tasting menu in our dining room, right? Because we wanted, if you're going to be inclusive of a group of 5 or even a couple, one of them doesn't eat meat, but one of them is vegetarian, we can easily transition them 1 or 2 course else to the vegan options, right? And make it easier to the transition. And so like, we try and plan our menu out like that, and then we try and remove as many restrictions as possible, because this really need a nut in it, because these need dairy, does this need egg, and this essential to it, we'll keep it, but we need to have an alternative.
Right.
Ready to transition.
That's awesome.
So that's where we kind of focus vast on our menu development and building and trying to make it so that we don't. It's an increasingly competitive market. If I'm fighting for somebody, they have an option for their friend who's coming in, or they're going on a date and they don't know. I mean, we need to
that's
have
a good
that
idea.
Available,
Yeah.
right? And just the more inclusively to make it, the more we don't have to worry about putting things out. Trying to make modifications or asking them a dish or making them feel like they're not part of these.
Well, and as for the fact that you've got such diverse meeting space as well, that opens up. I mean, you're not going to do a convention for 17,000 or whatever, but for a smaller group that can fit in the space upstairs and downstairs, that gives them without even thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like our private dining rooms, it's not even a problem for them to say. If they come in and say, I have a nut allergy, it's okay, that's not a problem. If I'm gluten-free, no problem. Easy. We're just so used to those kind of pivots, and then we just try and make it so that our vegetarian item is vegan. It's like, there's not a question of, do we need a Bavarian this, do we need this? And if I'm delivering to a table of 10 people, I don't need to figure out, in this can, I have this one that has no dairy, this one has no egg, this one is vegan, this one is vegetarian. They just all go to the same place.
Right.
And that's the other ease of service. It's just, you have to have an inclusive menu for that.
Was that a big shift for your chef, or was it?
I would say not really. I mean, it was kind of something at this level that we all did anyways.
Okay.
I think it's a shift. Some chefs are used and they're stuck in their ways, and they say, everything has to have prosciutto. And it's like, well, we're excluding a large segment of our population here. If they come in, they're halal or Jewish or something, they kosher. I can't serve them any bit, we're making it so that I can't serve them the salad on the menu,
everything,
right? Like, we have to have some kind of give and take here.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's for Jonas, our current executive chef, it's not been a problem.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I think the same for non-alcoholic cocktails. I mean, it's not even a question. This niche season program.
Right.
All right.
That's awesome. Yeah, I went the other day. We were serving a lunch, and she put the crispy onions on top, and I'm like, why would you not put those on the side? Like because you just made your salad inedible for a variety of people. I'm like, I couldn't eat it now.
Yeah.
Like, why?
We try and, I mean, there are times where we modify things.
Yeah.
I mean, we're used to it with anything. Yeah. Our dining room, that's the great thing about having dining room, which you have a lot of chefs with skill to accommodate different ideas.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a guest for me.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, really, I can't think of, at least in my time.
With at least not just giving them a baked potato and broccoli.
Here's a vegetable, steamed vegetable.
Yeah. We've just scraped the meat off the side of the plate and given you what everybody else is eating. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of
composed dish.
Yeah. A thoughtfully composed dish, which is what's appropriate. And, when I stopped drinking, which is 7 years ago, I guess, I'm like, it was because I didn't want to pay the money for cocktails. I didn't want the hangover, and I just didn't want the calories as well. But now, a composed drink, I'm really willing to pay for if it's really thought out for. I'm like, I don't care if I'm paying $14 for a non-alcoholic drink, because it's not the Shirley Temple or it's not my club soda. I'm not going to have a whole bunch of them.
Juice,
Yeah. And I don't want it to be super sugary. I love my ginger in my drink, but yeah.
Well,
I'm okay with it.
That's what those good and great bar programs look like now. I mean, here at Nova, we through our menu breakdown, we've got 4 different phases of the breakdown, right? But in each one of those phases, we have different style of cocktails. So you start with light, airy cocktails. Then we move into some more complex drinks while still staying refreshing. You got the bitter, boozy section, and then the after dinner sippers, dessert-esque. Now, in each one of those phases, we have a non-alcoholic mocktail version. So we, again, just have the option for you, for the non-drinkers, to enjoy the whole thoughtful process of the menu.
And are you using like the spiritless and all those different brands as well, or
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we lean pretty heavily on Ritual.
Ritual? Yeah.
That's
Okay, my
correct.
dad can
So
jam,
Ritual, and then we also have the Gießen, and actually this welcome beverage that we have here in front of you right now, this is going to be a Gießen Spritz. So it's going to be a zero proof alcohol removed Sauvignon Blanc
Okay.
with soda water.
Oh.
And we also have sparkling bubbles back there as well, zero proof sparkling bubbles. So here at Nova, we welcome you in with a little welcome beverage to a palate cleanser, so to say. So very light, easy drinking, spritz style welcome beverage. Whether it's a fortified wine, vermouth, or a sherry, or a spritz style drink is welcomed in. So this is a zero proof welcome beverage.
That's awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Woohoo.
And as you'll taste, it's got great bright flavors.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Still
that's
body.
delicious. Yeah.
Just it's it still fits in that realm of like we can enjoy things, and this is non-alcoholic.
Wow.
Talking about that point about like beverages, one thing that we were encountering a problem with, like this is probably 5 years ago, was that people were not drinking as much, and let's say it's a wedding, it's a meeting, people are aware of that,
Right.
and they're now saying, well, I'm paying for a beverage package for 30 people, and 10 of them are drinking Sprites, and I don't want to I'm paying for 2 hours of beverage service. This guy's drinking a Diet Coke, or this guy's drinking a cranberry juice. Well, that's why we're like, now we have zero group cocktails. They can participate fully in that experience. I don't need to sit there and figure out 10 people, or weddings especially. I mean, 6 of our people drink and 10 don't drink. I'm not doing the math. Like, everybody participates because options for everybody. And you turn kids in there and you're like, they're part of the beverage package as well, because we have options for them, that are upgraded, zero proof cocktails so they can enjoy along with everybody else.
I interviewed a guy from Sodexo Live, and he's in charge of beverages for Sodexo Live. But for the Taylor Swift concerts, they created a cocktail and a mocktail so that moms and daughters could have the same drink, and have that same experience at the Taylor Swift concert. I don't remember what they called it, but yeah.
I would love to just say, just on how par we run with that in our menu here too, because as it goes through here, in particular right here, cloud cover, the Stratus is our zero proof version.
Okay.
It is our cloud cover inspired drink. So it's the same scenario that we're going through, and we have those same flavors. So we can enjoy the same cocktail together. Non-alcoholic, alcoholic version. And that again is on each phase that we go through.
Wow.
So as we move through, so it's more of a progressive menu, and please feel free to pick it up and take a look. But it's more of a progressive menu as is through the elements of the supernova.
The elements, perfect word.
Yeah, so we took our interpretation of the supernova and the 4 phases of it, and we turned it into cocktails. So those 4 phases that I was briefly talking about before, we'll start with pressure. So those are going to be the very light and airy cocktails.
This one actually has arugula in it?
That's correct, it does. And the zero proof does as well too. So
really?
So for the more adventurous drinkers, and even for the more adventurous non-alcoholic drinkers, there's a lot of fun options that go through it. So that one's in the threshold, which would be our phase 2. That's right before the ignite of what we like to call the night, or just as that beautiful golden hour of the evening sets across the sky and across the horizon, you then move into luminance, which is going to be our bitter boozy style drinks. That's where you find your Manhattans, your old fashions, and again, using the Ritual spirits, we've got the option available to enjoy that style of cocktail with our mocktail. I should have non-alcoholic.
And then you've got the cold brew night shift.
The night shift, that's right. So on the final phase, the afterglow, that's slow sippers, right? That's the after dinner. The night is set in. We're relaxing, enjoying ourselves. Dessert-esque style. So you'll see some horchata on there. You'll see the night shift, which is our espresso martini.
Okay.
As well as some slow sipping Gestiva style cocktails as well.
And what's horchata?
So horchata is going to be a rice, cinnamon, and milk dairy drink beverage that is very popular in Mexico.
Okay.
Served cold. Well, they blitz rice and milk together, and you have this rich, creamy consistency, and then also having some hard spices in there, clove and cinnamon. In ours here that we make in house, we put a little bit of fresh Madagascar vanilla bean in there as well. So you get some full flavor. So if you look on that menu there, Velvet Tiger is going to be the horchata cocktail itself, that we add some more flavors with a rum cast finish whiskey, and then some coffee liqueur and some more dark rum allspice. And then those flavors are that's the same horchata that we use in there is the non-alcoholic horchata version as well. So you get the same flavors without that alcohol throughout the amber glow, as it's called as we call it on our menu, and then the alcohol version.
Can we have one of you like at every hotel catering thing?
I know, he sells the
I'm
beverages.
like, oh my God.
I can't keep him busy with the packages.
Yeah, that's fantastic sales pitch. It's awesome. I'm like, you know your stuff, which you don't get at a catering bar or even a salesperson. Yeah.
And I was going to say that about the menu, you know, like the menu's not necessarily, this one's not tailored as much plant-based as our front of house menu is, but that's the benefit of having restaurant attached to, so that we can make adoptions. They have familiarity with all those things when it comes to a banquet. If we have a PDR and one person there can't do anything on the menu, we have an entire another menu that accommodates. That's why I think it's nice having a venue attached to a restaurant versus being a strictly catering operation. For the ingredients, we have the dish and you make it every night, you know, for whatever. Right. So somebody comes in here and says, hey, well, what's vegan? We can alternate these dishes, or we can pull something that we have for often.
So one thing that I thought of when you said the milk thing, and you said you don't do dairy, I'm like, that's another thing that people don't think about when they think about allergens, right? Is like the beverages, you know, what you might come up with, and they would never know that had it, but it's important that the bartenders.
And then when you start to get to your high caliber cocktail bars and the high caliber bar programs, you know, classically a whiskey or gin sour is going to have egg white in it.
Right.
They say there's being so. We do have options in that manner using some products out there, whether you're using a Wonder Foam, which is a foaming agent that they use that comes in like a bitter style bottle, or even using aquafaba, which are great pieces, great tools and beans to use in those manners. So we do have the Wonder Foam that we incorporate into our bar program at the moment, and we're actually working on getting some powdered aquafaba that we're working on with the kitchen, dehydrating some aquafaba.
Really?
So we would be able to use the powder. We haven't quite experimented too much into it yet, but it's going to be another one of those fun, innovative ways to incorporate that silky, creamy texture that egg white brings into a cocktail, and then again making it available for all style of drinkers or non-alcoholic drinkers.
Have you heard of Derek Brown? He's a beverage guy from DC, but he's huge in the NA market now. But his cocktail book that came out 2 or 3 years ago has a whole bunch of aquafaba beverages in there. I'll send you a link to it.
So lovely. Yeah, absolutely.
Because he was big on that, which I'm like, people are not going to think. People are like, what's aquafaba? I'm like, it's the juice from the chickpea can. Yeah. You know, who would have thought, right? I think Veg Magazine named it the #1 invention of 2015.
Yeah.
But because who knew what you could do with that? And I'm curious too, like the liquid from the black bean can, does it have the same principles as like the chicken?
I think the designs are slightly different.
Yeah.
The Wonder Foam we use in our cocktails now to foam them up is made from it's like a South American bark.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and they extract it and it foams up perfectly. It's all these things that they have innovated.
Figure that out?
You know,
it's pretty wild, right?
It really is. I'm like, what made you think to take the bark off of a tree and make a foam out of it?
Break it down to make a foam.
Yeah, but that's interesting about the powder because you would never like drying it out.
Yeah,
and it doesn't have that. Sometimes you get that chickpea bite on it, a little oily on aquafaba if you make it in house.
But if we're doing this dehydrated, like we've already started manipulating some of the dehydrated aquafaba with spices, salt, So now we can add even more flavor into something.
Right.
And then we would theoretically rehydrate it and then use it in cocktails. Now we have shelf stable and a longer shelf life of a discarded item that we would normally, throw away without the use of doing something, and take the shelf life of it longer, be able to use it multiple applications, manipulate it even further than just the juice out of the can.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so that brings me to sustainability practices. So are you sourcing locally? What are you doing with leftovers, etc.?
Yes. So our head bartender, Jacob Arvin, is got a wild amount of knowledge, and when it comes to the prep and setting everything up, but even further into that, when we're talking about getting into super juicing. So it's a common practice in a lot of bar programs. It's basically you acid adjust your juices, and you basically macerate your zest of your fruits, and then you're adding juice. So you're not using as much fruit as you normally would to juice. Let's just say you take 30 limes and you end up with 700 exactly, right? Sometimes. But let's just say, because of the inconsistency, we end up with 20 milliliters of lime juice out of 30 limes. Well, we can take 10 limes instead of 20, and we cut it with water, we macerate the zest, and then we adjust it to the acidity level of lime, and we end up with a lime super juice. So it does have lime juice in it, but we used half the amount of product. So we don't have that much waste. We don't have as much waste. And the shelf life, once again, is far beyond what fresh juice would be, still having the high acidity and fresh juice that's in the high acidity and the high acidity of lime juice in the cocktail itself, without having the shorter shelf life of a few days.
And that brings, cost, right? And like, just you saying that helps reduce your costs with the prices of food skyrocketing at the moment, or for a while now. But that's like, you're using half the number of limes to get the same thing that you want, and using that zest. I mean, that's smart.
And then pre-batching cocktails, that has helped a lot of waste too, because if we're batching a cocktail, we can use all those ingredients. We can be more careful with how many ingredients we're actually putting into it. Batch and prepare that product together so that we buy the exact amount we need, and we don't have to sit on excess inventory. You're making it all the time, like some cocktail bars are. And this is why a lot of cocktail bars switch to batching as well. They can buy in bulk and then use what they need. Is trying to waste something out every day because you're opening it, you're using fresh fruit. And then acid adjusting, finding ways of making shelves stable. We have a canning machine in the back. We can some of our cocktails to go. So,
really? Cool.
We have them unique things. And then on the restaurant side, waste is dollars. Obviously it's a business. Everything we put in the trash can is $1 on. So we have our daily table buffet, which is normally a big source.
I definitely want to with them.
We make all of our food, and then after we're done at the buffet, we let all of our staff use the family meals. So we kind of recycle, we use all that.
I don't mean to interrupt, but Tracy,
yes,
is there any other allergy or dietary restrictions that you have?
I am gluten-free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get Tracy we can do the mosaic, sure, but I was going to say let's get a glass house as well. Awesome. And then we'll also do let's go ahead and get a latitude. Glass house, latitude, and mosaic.
Thank you.
We should do the horchata too. You were interested in that. I'll have that.
But, for us, that's how can we reverse this as family meal in the week, or how can we have them all go through it? And our staff takes home tons and eats that. And anything we can't, there are health restrictions. We can't donate all of it, but
the time
ones we can take and donate. But that's our biggest hurdle to a lot of that. Is what we can do within our indications of the city.
Right.
The city doesn't have a great composting program, so doing that in a big building is not necessarily viable. Do we're on the ground.
Yeah.
But we just try and use as much product as we can, and then give it to the staff when we can too. I think they're big at this.
And that's good, because it's one hotel in London. Or outside of London, they were going to donate to local community, but in the UK, they have to label all nutrients on all of their foods that they donate as well. So they put a refrigerator in for the staff. And so it was like, take what you want. And they could put the allergens and everything on that, on the refrigerator the day that they're doing it, and let the staff take it home. And they also, the golf course, they were giving their comp stuff to the golf course, and they're like, you got to stop because our grass is growing too fast. So they were having to cut the grass a lot more because the grass was so healthy from the compost stuff. So
I mean,
it's a catch-22.
It's big for ownership too, because they're a lead. It's ironic being an oil and natural gas business, but they're LEED certified, so everything has to be energy efficient as a building. I mean, it was at the time, because the world was energy efficient buildings, new construction in the U.S. So everything's LEED certified, and they try and make sure water's clean. If they can recycle to the building, you recycle where. That's a big component for them when they built the entire thing was their environmental sustainability and. Again, irony, but they're focused on it locally in the community.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, because you hear so many bad things about oil and gas, and if they're doing that on the other side to flip it.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking because you come to the parking lot and you're like, there's a lot of electric cars in here.
Okay, that's good. So do you have any local partners that you work with in the city, like that you can donate food that's time and temperature controlled in the back of the house? But I'm like, you're also sounding like, too, you're making it, you're not overproducing a lot.
We try not to.
Yeah.
I mean, because every overproduction, again, it's just dollars. So we really try and monitor how much we produce. And it comes with, like, proteins. I mean, everybody starts with proteins. Proteins, we try and use in every bit of our scrap. Tenderloin bites, we use in the stocks. Anything we can't use in the stocks, so we put in our tenderloin fillets. So people will make sure our yields on like meats try and stay in the 70 to 80% range, which is very high for most restaurants because we're utilizing a lot of that stock, so we're using them in different productions.
It's the same thing when we move back into our bar program too. Is we have sangria on our menu, and what we do with our sangria is we'll take some wines that we might have ran for a special that weekend, and if it's open, we still have another day or two. And what we do is we fortify it with other spirits, and we make sangria. So we have red and white sangria that we have here in house, available all the time. So we're not wasting that wine product that's going to oxidize in the next couple of days. We then turn that into sangria. That's a pretty common practice. A lot of places that have done, but the way that the volume that we're able to do it at and create it at has really been successful.
That's fantastic.
And the industry's changed a lot in that too, because everybody's focused on delivering the most quality product as fresh as possible, and you have two options as a bar program. You can either find a way to preserve that product, or you can throw it away on a regular cadence.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of our programs as though they dump their wines every 5 days. It's like, it's terrible. So maybe have one glass.
I know, that's such a high...
You're dumping your wine.
Cost just gets crazy on it, too.
Argon has really helped the market a lot. And Corvin system for bar programs. So we use a Corvin system in here. We use one in our main bar, and it replaces oxygen with argon, which blankets the wine. We now don't have to toss us 60, 70 cents a pour, but it blankets it with a heavy gas. It's full of the oxygen. And preserves that wine for a longer time. So we can pour it and then 3 weeks later pour it again, and it's just as fresh.
Oh, wow.
And wine, I would say for bar programs, wine spoilage is probably... Draft systems definitely have some waste, but wine programs, a lot of waste when you're trying to keep it fresh. You don't use them in the bond system. But for us, it's $1 gallon drain, and it's very significant.
And I love that you're talking about it, because there's so many times that, we do some food waste audit, and it just seems like it goes over people's heads. Like, if you're not thinking about this, like, that is your money going out the door.
Oh yeah.
And like, why would you not want to figure out how to reduce that loss and use it for something else, making stock or whatever else, whether it's beer or food or liquor or food. But it's mind-boggling that people don't think about it that way, especially in the big production side of conventions and large hotels.
Yeah, and there you're buying for bulk, you're making a ton of
yeah.
product, you're making your money, and you're walking away. And you're not seeing another event for a week. I mean, luckily here we can recycle things through our regular dining program. We can pickle vegetables and put back on our charcuterie board. You know, we can save things that maybe are close to expiring by finding different ways to ferment or you know, cryo back something and use that again later, like without having to wait on our next event to push something out. So, please, you know, we have a little leeway in our program. We have talented chefs who are creative and talented bartenders who are very creative and recycling.
Very talented chefs. Dehydrated aquafaba sums that up.
Completely. Totally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the way we have to do. There's a chef on LinkedIn that I follow all the time, and he'll take like garlic and he'll have a plate of it, but in 12 different versions of that garlic. Like here's dehydrated, here's pickled, here's this, and then he'll use cauliflower stalk. You know how cauliflower. Here's the stalk, here's the head. This is what I've done. Here's the leaf. You know, like he's like, this is what we have to be thinking about when we're doing this.
How can we make our bread? So he have a very talented pastry chef who makes all of his breads daily. And then how can we take that focaccia that's not used that day, break it up, use it as croutons, next day in salads? I mean, how can we keep that cycle alive? Because you can feed it to the staff. The staff gets sick of focaccia after 12 days.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, I wish more people were thinking about it, you know, and how do we bring that to the table? So do you sell that when you're pitching an event to a planner or, you know, and maybe it's not to, I mean, it's to a bride or whatever. Are you selling these aspects to it, or are you just saying, incorporating it and you sell it on the back end? Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of on the back end. Okay. I mean, for us, do we think it moves the needle with Oklahoma audience? Not necessarily.
Okay.
California audience, out California, that was like our whole, that was upfront and present.
Right.
And here it's more so we do it, and that's just part of our ethos. How do you run a business now on time large? And I would say for people who are interested, we absolutely want to show that off. And I think the building's important. You know, they love it how energy efficient the building. And we like to say it too, and we like to really show off our alternatives, our plant-based alternatives, are you know, that's a big feature for us. More so than like, how do we recycle? Because sometimes in other parts of the country, when we say recycle, we recycle food or we reuse food. They think that means it's bad. Right. You know, there's a stigma attached to it. So it plays against us in some ways. But if we can explain it, if somebody asks, we're happy to explain it in a way that you're controlling the narrative. It doesn't sound like we're just trying to use the expired product. You know, I think there's a stigma attached to it, at least here locally.
Across the board.
Well, I'm using day-old bagels or something. No, like we're giving you a product that's fresh. This is part of the process. So reduce our waste on our end to make sure that we're not overproducing.
Well, and it helps too. It's going to reduce my costs. If you're managing your costs, you're not going to. I mean, ideally, when I'd say convention centers, like, hey, if you figure out how to reduce those your costs, you're not going to charge me as much for that hard-boiled egg or whatever. I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Our markup for food is 3 times. So if my input cost goes up 1%, I need to raise prices 2 or 3% just to be able to keep my margin consistent. Right. So any way we can reduce costs down the line does end up being a reduction, or at least not an increase. You know, because that input, and you could force it 2 ways. If you have food costs going up, you force it on the consumer, you can find a way to stay. Right. We've had to find a good middle ground with as little reason source play. Yeah, because prices are, they're never going down. They're never going down. And one chef I was talking to, he said, you know, the price of meat is like skyrocketing, but the demand for meat from consumers is still sky high as well. But how do you, you can't charge $100 for a fillet, you know, I mean. It's like, do you want to serve an inferior product? We actually do work locally with our meat purveyor is Meats by Lens. Okay. So they don't produce all the cattle locally, but their genetics farm is local. Okay. And they try and make sure everything's raised in, you know, a sustainable source. They use only 100% Black Angus, and their whole genetics farm is just down the Wingwood. I'm sorry? It's in Wingwood, Oklahoma. Yes. It's just south of here. Lens? Okay. Lens, yeah. And they probably know every steer that comes through there. Yeah. Wow. We worked also locally with another ranch just outside of here called No Name Ranch. Okay. And that was broken down. We would break down whole steers in a butchery in Guthrie and break it down and use the entire product. And
Wow.
so that's always kind of been part of our in-house. You end up with a lot of short lived, but you know,
And you use
a lot of stock after a while.
what is it? What's the tongue called?
Lingua.
Is it lingua?
I mean, that's
I remember.
in Spanish, right? Is that
No, is it stripe or
tripe?
tripe? Tripe. Yes,
Yeah.
thank
It's
you.
not lingua. Lingua might be another
Yeah.
fantastic part of the animal.
Currently, we don't, but
Yeah.
we have in the past.
Yeah.
We've used everything. You know,
Okay.
bone stars.
Yeah.
It just depends on how the chef feels about it.
And then what about vegetables and things like that? How are you? Are you source as much as possible here, or are there farms?
We get out of our microgreens and we get our specialty produce
Uh-huh.
from different purveyors locally. Most of our fake products, cost again is big. We're paying twice as much for locally grown vegetables. Sometimes that input cost is going to hurt the customer. So,
Right.
there is a give and take locally, and what we know is really good quality product for a price that's reasonable. We'll absolutely do. But I say that it's different mold being in a again, this is California, Florida.
Right.
This
Yeah.
was a place where we had natural vegetation everywhere. It'd be a lot easier, but we are having to rely a lot on our sources to get some of that trucked in, just because of our volumes.
Yes.
And the quality of product. It's hard to get quality product in Oklahoma consistently. But we'll run a special when we get good deals on, local products.
Right,
Local fish or local,
Right.
whatever it is. We try and keep our ear to the ground on that one.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
All of our micros are local, and they're grown by a, tag team with 2 people. Do try and keep all of our wheat local as well. We work with a wheat commission,
Okay.
and our chef is he's one of the stars of the Oklahoma Wheat Commission. So they
Okay.
always send him stuff. We host them every year, but most of our wheat we try and source it as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never heard that before. Yeah.
Huge in Oklahoma.
Wow. No, yeah, I've never heard that.
We're actually
I don't
gonna-
eat meat, but that's
He's
good.
supposed to be on a Food Network program, but it hasn't aired yet. But
Okay.
they did one at the Oklahoma.
Oh, very cool.
I just said it. Oklahoma wheat producers. He's got a special. Our pastry chef.
Oh, really?
He's got a special on at Subi area sometime this year.
Okay.
Over at Oklahoma, we're playing how we so loud.
That's pretty cool. Now, so the pastry chef, does he also make do you have gluten-free and vegan pastries done
Yeah.
in-house?
So
or-
we do plant-based, not necessarily pastries, but we have we make all of our sorbets in house daily, and then a special plant-based dessert. I think right now that's like a crap or crisp
Okay.
wishes. And then gluten-free, yeah, we always have our marriage rule is always gluten-free, especially mousses and has everything free. But we try and there's always something. That's just again, it's not possible to have a restaurant and tell people no anymore.
Right. Yeah.
It's not how you can run a business.
Right.
It's inclusive of today's.
Yeah.
The awareness people have to get everything.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And you don't want a bowl of berries.
Mhm.
Is the
Yeah.
You're like, oh, here, I'm
Here's some
sorry.
berries. Here's some good
You have
pickles on
see
the
it
side.
for
No.
dessert. Yeah. Even dairy free. I'm like, here's your bowl of berries, right? Yeah.
I've had a lot of bowl of berries.
So have I. Yeah. And I put it when I speak on this. I put it like that. I'm like, here is how many of you have been your guests have been served that, and everybody just laughs because it's
true.
yeah, or a plate of melon. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh really?
Here's
I'm
some,
like,
here's some day old cantaloupe.
exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Eating at a Meeting podcast, where every meal matters. I'm Tracy Stuckrath, your food and beverage inclusion expert. Call me and let's get started right now on creating safe and inclusive food and beverage experiences for your customers, your employees, and your communities. Share the podcast with your friends and colleagues at our Eating at a Meeting Facebook page and on all podcast platforms. To learn more about me and receive valuable information, go to tracystuckrath.com. And if you'd like more information on how to feed engagement, nourish inclusion, and bolster your bottom line, then visit eatingatameeting.com.